You want to own a business, you want to fund a business, you're either going to start it or you're going to buy it. Those are the choices. There really aren't very many other ways to get a business unless you inherit it, of course, which almost nobody that's watching this is in that situation. So you want to own a business? I've been telling people for years, buy a business, don't start it. And then one day I was challenged. Somebody said, well, wait a minute, did you start your business brokerage? I said, I did. And they said, well, Mark, you can't tell people that buying a business is the only way if you actually started a business. So I'll talk to you a little bit about both. Starting a business is a good idea. It just requires a lot of capital. Maybe not the money kind of capital, but the emotional capital, the stamina capital, the mental energy capital, and the mental toughness capital. You need lots of that to start a business. And maybe that's not always the best way, but sometimes that's all you've got. So let's talk a little bit about that first. Let's talk about starting a business. What do you need? I'm gonna get comfortable. So I'm gonna grab my drink and visit with you about starting a business and what you need. And then I'm going to tell you about 3 of the most important things you need when you're buying a business. Starting a business is simple. Come up with an idea that solves a problem. Somebody was having a problem with X, your target audience or customer is having a problem with X. You find the solution for that problem, lead them to you or arrive at their doorstep, show them that what you have will make their life better, and it'll be an easy conclusion. And they'll probably keep coming back to you and telling everybody about it. Well, that's really easy for me to say. It's going to cost some energy and some time and some money to be able to start that from zero and take it all the way there. So it does begin with a good plan. If you've got an idea for a business, and it doesn't matter if your business is going to be something very simple like a lawn maintenance company, or maybe you're going to start something like a flower shop, you're going to sell Christmas trees. It doesn't really matter what it is. As long as what you're selling solves a problem for someone, a problem that they're serious about solving, your business is going to be fine. The reason I recommend buying a business is because it eliminates a lot of the aches and pains along the way. A lot of the things that you need to operate a business successfully will already be in place when you buy a business. Therefore, I still recommend that buying a business is the best way. Now, when you're faced with that, you've got a couple of questions for yourself. Where do I find a good business that's for sale? How do I come up with a value for a good business that's for sale? And then lastly, but not least, how do I fund that business? Well, most of you know how to find a business. You're going to look on places like bizbuysell.com or LoopNet or BizQuest or one of those types of sites, or maybe even Craigslist. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be plenty of people out there telling you, I want to sell my business. Are you interested? But some of the best businesses available to you are going to be businesses where it's not on the market and it's not widely known that it's for sale. Sometimes the seller doesn't even know themselves that they want to sell. How do you find those? It's really simple. When you meet business owners, ask them this one question. What are you going to do next? If you had all of the money that you needed and all of the income that you need and your needs were taken care of, what would you do with your time? And then listen closely to their answer. Very often it will tell you what their motivations are for selling their business. And that is how you find businesses to sell. When somebody says, oh, well, what I want to do is I want to travel to the Vatican and work and serve the poor and the needy in downtown Manhattan, or I want to go and volunteer at schools and teach children how to read. Whatever their answer is, that's what they're excited about. Maybe they want to watch a Super Bowl of their favorite team live, or maybe watch a professional game in every city of some sport or another. Whatever they tell you is going to be what motivates them to accept an offer that you will bring to them. So once you know what they want to do next, you want to find out what the business is worth. The best way to do that is to look at their sales results. Maybe ask for a couple of years of sales results, tax returns, income profits, probably about 3 years. That's reasonable and customary. Look at the profits and what's known as the seller discretionary earnings. That is money that the seller spends on themselves that can be counted as profits according to generally accepted accounting practices, also known as GAAP. So look at the profits. And once you see that, you'll know that the price in each industry is very often dictated by a multiple of profits. If this business makes $200,000 and the general multiple in that industry is 3 times, then a good asking price might be $600,000. But don't stop there, because once you know what the business is worth, now you have to look at what you've got to spend, how much money you've got available. And don't be surprised if the price of the business happens to be more than the amount of money that you have. Don't be surprised if the amount of the down payment required turns out to be more money than what you have, because that's often the case. And once you know what the price of the business is, what you'll want to do is you'll want to go on what I like to call a money hunt. And when you're on the money hunt, you want to identify the way you're going to pay for this business by doing the following. Arnold Goldstein says, put the big rocks in the jar first. What that means is you want to find the biggest packets of money for your purchase price. Let's say the purchase price is $600,000. And if you know you can get an SBA loan that covers $400,000, well, that part's solved. Get an SBA loan that solves for $400,000. But I've still got $200,000 that I need to come up with to satisfy this seller. Where do I get it? Well, if I don't have the funds myself, I'm going to look in other places. You can find investors. Sometimes that comes in the form of friends, family, angel investors. You can also look to future partners and limited partners. Both are fantastic sources of that down payment money that you need to get your business going. It's very important that you leave no stone unturned. You can start by opening your contact list. You know, they used to tell young graduates when they're looking for a job that you should look at FOPS and POFs, FOPS and POFS. Well, what is that? Well, a FOP is a friend of a parent, and a POF is a parent of a friend. So if you're a young person and you're looking for funding for your business, those are 2 great sources to look in. You can also, this is a lot more risky and not necessarily recommended by many professionals, but you can look at credit card financing and finance your business through credit cards. Another thing that you can do is you can use your retirement account. Again, that's not widely recommended or highly proposed by financial professionals, but it works. There's a system out there known as ROBS. It means rollover on your retirement accounts or rollover on business accounts. And what you'll want to do with ROBS is that allows you to, without penalty, withdraw your money for the purpose of buying and investing in your business. The next place and the last place that you can look at what's already inside of the business. Excess inventory, old receivables. These are all things that you can negotiate with the seller to give yourself access to these items, maybe even during the due diligence period, so that you can either get commitments of cash for those items to be paid on or immediately after closing, or maybe the seller will allow you to sell them up front and the seller receives the income from those sales and applies it to your down payment. And last but not least, there's seller financing. An agreeable seller will always finance your deal. So those are just some of the ways that you can creatively finance your business. And you can use those strategies whether you're getting an SBA loan or not. You just have to go and find the big hunk of the purchase price first. We call that getting the big rocks in the jar first. And then you want to go ahead and get the smaller pieces one after the other. Finally, on this subject of creative financing when you're buying a business, the approach means everything. You can't just show up on a seller's doorstep and say, I'm looking to buy a business for about $600,000 to $1 million, but I need an owner who's willing to finance all of that. Would that be you? Because I guarantee you that you're going to get a no about 100 out of 100 times. What you want to do before showing up and blurting out what you need is you're going to do what you are going to do while you're operating the business and show up and ask them to share with you what they need. which is why you want to go back to the beginning of what is it that you want to do next after you're no longer operating this business. Their answer will help you enroll them as a good financing partner for purchasing their business, because maybe the seller financing will solve problems for them, like continued income, like reduced capital gains, like not giving all of their profits to the bank, instead taking that profit themselves by charging you an interest rate on the portion of the sale that they finance for you. Those are just some of the ideas that will help you buy an existing business, just in case the emotional capital of starting a business is too much for you. And let me tell you, the emotional capital of starting a business is intense. So buying a business might just be the easy way out. I'm Mark Golden, this is Business is Booming. If you like this video, make sure that you stay tuned for the next video, because it's going to continue to answer some of these challenging issues with buying or starting a business and scaling it really quickly. Thanks again for tuning in. I hope you got just what you needed from this today.